You ever have one of those nights, you're just completely wiped out, physically exhausted, but your mind is running a million miles an hour? Well, today we're going to dig into why that happens, and more importantly, what you can actually do about it. So let's set the scene. You've had a long, tough day, you finally crawl into bed just dying for some sleep, and boom, your brain decides it's the perfect time to throw a party. So what's the deal? Let's take a look at what's really going on under the hood. It is one of the most frustrating feelings in the world, right? You know you desperately need to recharge, but you just lie there tossing and turning, and then you wake up feeling like you didn't sleep at all. If that sounds even remotely familiar, trust me, you are in good company. I love this quote because it just nails the feeling. It's like our brain is a web browser with 100 tabs open at once. We're reliving something that happened yesterday, we're stressing about a meeting tomorrow, we're planning a project for next month, and all these little programs are running in the background, just draining our battery, even when we're supposed to be offline and resting. Okay, so what is the actual biology behind this mental traffic jam? To figure that out, we've got to pop the hood and take a look at our body's own internal operating system. All right, so the star of our show today is something called the autonomic nervous system. You can basically think of this as the automatic pilot for your body. I mean, you don't have to sit there and consciously tell your heart to beat, right? Or remind your lungs to breathe. The ANS just handles all of that for you, completely behind the scenes. Now, here is the really crucial part. The ANS basically has two modes. You've got your sympathetic system, that's your gas pedal. It's what revs you up for deadlines, for action, for any kind of stress. It's your fight or flight mode. And then you have the parasympathetic system. That's your brake pedal. It's what helps you calm down, rest, and recover. The big problem? Our crazy modern lives have us flooring that gas pedal pretty much 24/7, which throws the whole system way out of whack. And, it's just like a muscle that you never ever use. If we're constantly on the gas, our braking system, that parasympathetic nervous system, it actually gets weaker. It literally starts to atrophy. And that makes it harder and harder for our body to slow itself down, even when we are completely and totally exhausted. So if our brakes are getting weak, what are we supposed to do? We can't just hope they get stronger. No, we have to actually actively retrain them, give them a workout, just like any other part of our body. And this is where something like meditation comes into the picture. But let's reframe this for a second. Let's forget all the spiritual ideas you might have about it and just think of it as a physiological exercise. It's a targeted workout for your nervous system, a science-based tool to strengthen your body's ability to hit the brakes. And believe me, this isn't just some fringe idea. The science is absolutely overwhelming. We're talking about something like a thousand new academic papers published every single year studying its effects. It's become so well established that some insurance companies will literally pay for a prescription for meditation simply because they know it works. Okay, so let's talk about the number one biggest roadblock that people hit when they try this workout. It's the thing that makes almost everybody quit before they even really get started. You know the feeling. You sit down, you try to focus, you try to quiet your mind, and suddenly you're thinking about emails, what to make for dinner, that embarrassing thing you said in high school. It feels like a complete and total failure, doesn't it? But, and this is the big secret, a wandering mind isn't a sign that you're failing. It's actually a sign that it's working. Seriously, it means you finally hit the brakes just enough for your brain to start its cleanup process. All those thoughts and memories you've been pushing down all day, they're finally bubbling up to the surface to be dealt with. It's a good thing. So how can you start putting this into practice, like right now? Well, here's a super simple 3-step check-in you can do anytime, anywhere to start retraining those brakes. Okay, first, just check your pulse. So many of us are walking around with a resting heart rate in the 80s or 90s, which is pretty high. Second, count your breaths for a full minute. A nice calm rate is somewhere around 12 to 18 breaths. If yours is way higher, you're still on the gas. And third, just notice your hands. Are your palms cold? As that brake system, your parasympathetic system kicks in, blood flow actually improves, and you'll literally feel your palms start to warm up. So what happens when you actually stick with this and start strengthening your brakes? Well, the payoff isn't just some vague feeling of being calmer. It's something we can actually measure scientifically. And the results, they're pretty incredible. So the key metric we're talking about here is called heart rate variability, or HRV. To put it simply, it's a measure of how flexible and adaptable your nervous system is, how well it can switch between the gas and the brake. A high HRV is a sign of a healthy, balanced system, the kind you see in young, resilient people. It's basically a marker of your biological age. Now, check this out. This chart is from a case study on someone in their mid-20s. Before they did this practice, their nervous system had the autonomic age of a 42-year-old. But after just 1 hour of meditation, their score dropped all the way down to the level of a 15-year-old. That is a jaw-dropping, measurable jump in resilience in just 60 minutes. So let's just pull this all together. That tired but wired feeling, it's a real thing, caused by an imbalance in your nervous system. You can literally strengthen your body's brake pedal with a science-backed workout like meditation. And remember, a wandering mind isn't failure, it's progress. You can even use simple checks like your breath and how warm your hands are to see it working. And the results, they're real, they're measurable, and they can make a huge difference in your resilience. So I'll leave you with this one last thought. This isn't just about getting a better night's sleep. This is about fundamentally restoring your body's energy day after day. So the real question is, if you could actually hit a reset button on your nervous system every single day, what would you finally have the energy to do?